Good morning, everybody. It's Eclipse Day, and I just wanted to give my final thoughts on the TV series The Strain. Now, this was aired on FX, and I finally got current with the series. I watched 4 seasons, and I finished the last episode of season 4 just yesterday. And I wanted to just kind of wrap this up. Obviously, there were lots of Eclipse references. I think I covered most of those, but I did want to tell you that one of the last episodes that I saw involved the detonation of, and I can't even say what the word is, otherwise this video will be defunded, but a device, we'll call it a device, was detonated, and you can fill in the blanks there, at the Statue of Liberty in New York. And then in the series, they actually tie that in to this occultation or eclipse. They tie that in, and as that being the eclipse, because after that a nuclear winter follows, the sky goes dark, and all these zombies that normally hate the light are able to come out. So after watching the series, I realized a few things. That this whole series is based off of what are called the Strigoi, Strigoi. These are the invading vampires, and they have. And I'm not going to show you images because this is stuff you really don't need to see. This video is more for people who understand that they feed us this stuff through the media, and that have their eyes open to seeing the clues. Okay, that's who this is for. And for the few of you that do watch these virus movies, because some of you do. And the Strigoi, I figured out, are Striga. Okay? Now this is crazy. Striga is a plant hormone that stimulates growth without the need for photosynthesis. It says Striga were first discovered in Striga lutea, witchweed, a parasitic weed that lacks the ability to photosynthesize. Such plants use Striga exuded from the roots of host plants as a cue for germination. Now this is interesting because it does not use sunlight. Now here's some further evidence that this Striga was named after Strigoi, which are witches. Witchweed is named after the word that means witch. Okay, and this goes back in history, and so we've got a pattern here of vampirism and things being named after that. So obviously the witches were named, the witchweed is named after this Strigoi from the Romanian mythology. It cannot use sunlight, and of course these vampires are very afraid of the sun in this series and run from it. So I looked up the Striga asiatica, which is this witchweed, and this has actually was discovered in the Carolinas after it came over from Africa and Asia, and it has infected the crops, and it literally acts as a vampire to the roots of these plants. Now this is a big deal. This can wipe out entire crops: corn, sorghum, sugarcane, and rice. And these seeds can live for up to 10 years in the soil. It's to the point where they've actually had to do these abatement protocols and basically come through and cause these things to germinate by putting propane into the soil, and then that will make these seeds germinate, and then they'll go through and try to like pull them all out. And this is a very, very bad plague. This is a type of plague. And so I'm bringing this up because I want you guys to see that this is another possibility, because they've buried this. This is hidden in the storyline. Okay, but now that I'm telling you, those of you that have seen the strain, you're going to go, oh, that's exactly what they were talking about. Okay, now there's a person in here in the series called Quinn Own, and he is a half-breed. Okay, So Quinlan the half-breed, I believe they're referring to Quinn Own. Okay? I mean, it's all here. The initial root secretes an oxidizing enzyme that digests the host root surface, releasing quinones. If the quinone product is within the appropriate concentrations, a hosterone will develop with the initial root. Now, Quinn Own is a half-breed, as I told you. He's half Strigoi and half human. And in that storyline, he basically is like Cain, born in the womb of his mother while she became infected. So his mother was like the Eve character, and we talked about this. This is exactly the Cain storyline. They repeat it. They know the truth. No one else gets it except for you and I, and that's it, pretty much. And so, but they know it, and they talk about it, and they display it. And so, in one of the last videos we did, we talked about this part of the series where they compare him to Cain. So he meets this little girl that you're seeing on your screen right now. And this is the first time that he's had human contact since he was born, basically a monster. And he's had human contact, and this is the first family he meets that accepts him. And lo and behold, look at the irises of this little girl. She has polychromia, which basically means each eye color is different. Now, we did videos on this and what it means. It is the cross strain of the two bloodlines. And we saw this with David Bowie. He has eyes like this as well. There's a tennis player, I believe, that has different colored irises as well. This is real, okay? And they're showing it to you in this series. It doesn't mean these people are bad. It just means it's basically a genetic effect showing us that we are mixed with alien DNA. I mean, that's... Now, as I'm describing this to you, you'll understand that this is definitely some kind of host and scenario, okay? And I mean, look at this. A bell-like swelling forms where the parasitic roots attach to the roots of the host. This is exactly what happens in the series. They've got these long tongues that shoot out, go into people's necks, and then drink all their blood. So this is exactly what's going on. I was able to pull up some images of this thing. Here it is here. I mean, it's clear. This clearly looks exactly like those extensions that were coming out of people's mouth. It's the same thing. They basically borrowed the idea from this. They show Revelation 6:12 talking about a lamb opening the sixth seal. It appears on a wall in one of the episodes. And there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black like sackcloth of goat hair. That's an eclipse. And the whole moon turned blood red. So maybe this eclipse is going to present itself with a blood red moon. We saw this in I Pet Goat. It was a blood red moon eclipse. And we saw then the Statue of Liberty, the torch fall off in I Pet Goat directly after that eclipse. Which is the same thing that happened in the strain. Statue of Liberty was detonated. And then Revelation 6 goes on to say the stars of the sky fell to earth like the unripe figs. So we've seen this prophecy before of the stars falling from heaven. This is something to watch for during this eclipse or the eclipse in 7 years. So I wanted to just lay all this out for you guys. We discovered the real, true storyline of the strain. For those of you that didn't know this, I haven't seen this anywhere else. Correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, this is what they're talking about. This strange weed that is taking over the East Coast that they're having to quarantine. All of this is mentioned in the series. And they're trying to basically do suicide germination, which is exactly what they do in the series too. They have to cut the heads off of these strigoi and draw them out, right? Which is exactly what they do here. Now in this final screenshot, what you're looking at is a page from the Oxida Lumen. Now, this is a book that the good side is searching for because they believe it holds the secrets in defeating the Strigoi and ridding them of planet Earth, right? And they believe that it has secrets. Now, at one point, they read inside of the Strigoi that the face of God is a bright light. Where do we see this? In the Bible, Jacob said he saw the face of God, and it was in a place called Peniel. Well, what is the Peniel? Well, Jesus says the eye, singular, is the lamp of the body. What eye is Jesus talking about? Is he talking about the eye that's in the middle, which is where he was crucified, in the middle of two thieves? I think the thieves are your two physical eyes, and Jesus is in the pineal position. So if Jacob saw the face of God at the pineal, and Jesus says the eye is the lamp of the body, and he says if your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. Look in the King James Version, you'll see this for yourself with your own eyes. And he says the eye is the lamp of the body, and if your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. But he also says if your eye is dark, your whole body will be full of darkness. So this is what this is about. This is about, are you good or are you evil? Which master do you serve? Do you serve the material master of this planet, the ruler of this world? Or do you serve the heavenly master? Are your eyes fixed on heaven, or are they fixed on earth? What will you do against your brothers and sisters to survive in this material realm? Will you persecute them? Will you beat them down? Will you steal from them? Will you hurt them? Will you murder them? These are the questions. This is what Jesus was talking about, okay? And in this scene, they rip the page out, they throw it in the fire. But upon closer examination, I realized that what you're really looking at on this page is Saturn. Why is this Saturn, Casey? Because Saturn has a cube at its North Pole, and obviously you see the seal of Solomon, seal of Saturn in the middle, and then you see it surrounded by the ring of Saturn, which is, they're depicting it as the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail. And there you have a depiction of Saturn. It gets thrown in the fire. For those that don't know, Saturn's outermost ring is not a ring at all. It's a spiral. Look it up. Everything said on this video are facts that have been presented to you so that you can make your own judgment, your own critical thinking, to come to realize the truth about the world we live in. And if YouTube wants to defund that, then God help us all. Take care and be safe, you guys.